Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. I today am, of course, wearing my I did not ask to be born possum t-shirt, and we all know what that means. It means that today we are looking at some parents who have just a tiny little smidge bit of a victim complex and like to blame their kids for everything. So a couple months ago, I made a video about our favorite mother on the internet, Doormat Mom. You know, the estranged mother who made a Facebook group and like wrote a book, and we had a look at her TikToks, and I asked if you wanted me to read her book, and there was an overwhelming amount of yes, please read her book. And so I did. And today's video is not not me talking about her book, because it took me 2 months to read that book. Like, I had so many thoughts that I was like writing as I read it, and the document that I ended up writing is 25,000 words or 43 pages long. That's how much I had to say. If you want to read that document and just like my raw rolling commentary, then it is available on Patreon. You can buy it as its own thing, or you can join and get access to it. So if you want to check that out, you can go to patreon.com/savvycat. But I obviously have 43 pages worth of my thoughts to sort through, so I'm gonna need more time to do that. But because it is so heavy on my mind, like literally all I've been able to think about for the past like 2 months has been like estranged parents and how much they absolutely make me want to slam my head into a wall. I had to go through a Facebook group. Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I had no choice because it's literally the only thing that my brain could think about, and I can't talk about the book yet. So today we're going to be going through a few Facebook groups, and I've also made a whole little section that specifically focuses on parents of queer kids as well, because that's always good fun to have a look at, isn't it? Yeah, so if you do enjoy this video, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you interact with this video, it means that my video about the book can come a little bit sooner. And also, if you are looking forward to seeing me talk about that horrible, horrible book, then please do hit subscribe and turn on the notifications because you don't want to miss it. I'm really excited to share it with you. It's the longest I've ever worked on a video, and I'm really excited to like get it out there. So that is what we're going to be doing today, is we are going to be looking at some parents whose kids no longer speak to them and like have a look at why they think that is and like pick it apart a little bit. Because, you know, I think a lot of the time when people decide to stop talking to their parents, they haven't done anything wrong. The kids, not the parents. The parents are usually in the wrong. And I think that sometimes it is the correct choice to stop speaking to your parents. Not always, but sometimes not speaking to your parents is the best thing that you can do. With all the free time you have, no longer trying to emotionally regulate your parents, you can spend that time on yourself. You can go out, you can get yourself a little treat, and that is where today's sponsor, Free Cash, comes in and is your best friend. Free Cash is an online service that makes earning a little bit of extra money on the side fun and easy, because literally all you have to do is play some mobile games and you will earn money. You are very likely already spending a lot of time on your phone. So in order to fill that time while you're on your phone, you may as well get something back out of it. My favorite app is Word Collect, and the reason for that is that I have been playing a game that is very similar to it, like pretty much the same thing by a different name, for years, like years. And like now I also can earn a little bit of money from doing it. Like, why would I not be taking advantage of that? And as you level up through these games and get further and make more achievements, you start earning more back. And that does mean that if you are making in-app purchases, you are leveling up your rewards and the ability to earn back as well. I am not usually someone who participates in in-app purchases because I find it really hard to justify. But this is really good justification. It really does help me be like, well, I mean, and you may be asking like, that sounds a little bit too good to be true. And I really did think that as well. But then I went to Trustpilot and I saw that they have over 200,000 reviews with a score of 4.8, and so many people talking about how great it is and how it is such an easy way to just earn like a little bit of extra cash on the side. And then I started doing it as well and found that, yeah, it is pretty easy to just like accumulate a little bit on the side, right? I kept playing Word Collect with app tracking turned on so free cash can connect and track my progress. And I have already earned my first $20, which I then went and instantly withdrew to my PayPal. And it was so satisfying seeing real money hit my account for the first time after just playing a game that I already love. And you can also withdraw to platforms like Coinbase, or you can choose from tons of gift cards if you prefer that. So yeah, if you want to earn some extra cash for yourself, then please use the link in the description or the QR code up on the screen right now, and you will get a $5 bonus on your first offer. So thank you so much, Free Cash, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, now into the video. Before my estranged son and daughter-in-law pushed us out of their lives, when we would have get-togethers, we were always walking on eggshells, always worried about saying the wrong thing. I think there was a part of us that knew the day would come when we would say the wrong thing and life as we cherished it would be over. That's exactly what happened. My husband was talking to my granddaughter, who misunderstood what he said, and the next thing we knew, our world fell apart. My husband attempted to tell my estranged son and daughter-in-law what he said, but was told they did not want to hear excuses. They have no idea what the conversation was, and instead of sitting down with my husband and granddaughter to talk it out and determine what really took place, they just walked out of our lives. Okay, so I have a question. I have a really, really important question, and that is, what did he say? This is the thing with these people, right? Is that they never give the full story. They never give full context. If what he said wasn't that bad, why didn't you tell us? Yeah? Why didn't you tell us? Why were you just like, he said something to his granddaughter and she misunderstood it. And then her parents immediately cut us off. It must have been pretty bad. What he said must have been incredibly inappropriate. So like, you know, and if you didn't think that it was, if you thought what he said was okay, you would have shared it, but you didn't. So you are instantly guilty, and I am immediately on their side. If you said something bad enough to a child that their entire family cut you off, like, you're lucky that that's all that happened, I think. Like, whoa. I, like, only have my imagination to decide. And if it's not that bad, you should have shared it, because otherwise I'm jumping to the worst of conclusions. Carrying on. What I do not understand is that the both are Christians, as we are. I cannot understand how they divide this family and feel that this is okay in God's eyes. My mother-in-law died. She lived in a different state than our family. We all went to the nursing home to say our goodbyes to her prior to her death. My son was there, and when we walked in, he did not even look at us and got up and walked out. I was concerned about him, as he was extremely close to my mother-in-law, so I followed him to make sure he was emotionally okay. I sat next to him, and he was so stiff and cold and just said he did not want to get into it. I explained that I knew how close he was to Grammy, and just wanted to make sure he was okay. It was like he was a stranger. I know my son, even if my daughter-in-law says I don't. He's a very emotional person, but does not like to show emotions. He's a police officer and tends to put on a tough, arrogant exterior. When they were first married, they would tease each other as to who had the best parents and the better childhood. When did he forget those moments? When did he begin to dislike us? When did we become the problem? I miss him so much. Like, I need to know what was said for it to be, like, this bad. Like, it must have been pretty bad. The fact that these people always come into and are like, this isn't what God would want. The fact that you're a Christian and can, like, separate the family. The fact that you're a Christian and can say something so inappropriate your family never speaks to you again. Like, if he's, like, at the deathbed of his grandmother and still is, like, uncomfortable around his parents because of something that was said to his child, like, I'm horrified. You know, like, what happened? What went down? Oh my God. And they're like, when did he forget all these memories? He hasn't forgotten all the memories. He hasn't forgotten everything that you went through and, like, everything that you gave him. He's just maybe realized some of the negative things as well. Yeah, like, maybe this conversation of something that was said that was incredibly inappropriate brought up some memories of his own. Maybe he started reflecting on, like, wait, have they done other fucked up shit before? And, like, started uncovering all these other things and was like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, maybe I need a little bit of space. Maybe my childhood and my parents weren't as great as I have, like, painted it to be, and I need some time. And then he's, like, done some reflecting and realized he still needs some space to kind of, like, process that. And maybe he'll come back someday when he feels a bit more ready for it. But, you know, considering you defended whatever your husband said Doesn't seem likely. I pray that one day God will bring my son and grandchildren back in my life. To be honest, I don't think my son is happy, but is doing what he has to do. I sometimes feel my daughter-in-law is like the wolf disguised as a sheep. As Christians, there are so many tools God gives us to work through problems and issues, so why can't we use them to bring our families back together? I often wonder, as Christians, who is providing them guidance in all of this? What Christian person would counsel that estranged families is godly? I'm really confused by this. Sorry I'm going on so long. This is the only safe place to say what I am feeling, so I thank you all for letting me rant. I, once again, am just so obsessed with being like, this isn't godly. This isn't what Christians do. I'm going to pray that they come back into my life. How about instead, you do some reflection and you think about your actions and you work on making a change and apologizing. Yeah? You can't just be like, oh God, please bring back my child without me having to do any work. Please let him just forgive me for every wrong that I've ever done. And then when that doesn't work, being like, well, it wasn't in the cards. God didn't want it to be. No, what you need to do is work on yourself. Maybe they'd be willing to have a conversation, to sit down with you about what was said if you weren't defensive, right? This is the whole thing, is they wouldn't even sit down and have a conversation. He was misunderstood. It's like, if you were coming in being like, that's not what I said. You're twisting my words. That's not what I meant. Get over it. That's not going to work. You have to be like, I'm so sorry that I said that. That was inappropriate. I am so sorry that you feel this way. I'm so sorry that I said it. I regret it. That's how you have this conversation. You don't excuse the behavior. It's not justifiable. Don't even know what he said. Not justifiable. Yeah? It's not up to God. It is up to you. Well, sisters, I've moved from the sad stage to the ticked off stage. How dare these kids do this to us? So stupid. I had open enrollment at my school yesterday. I took my kid off everything. These kids have no loyalty to the people that gave up so much to them. I told my husband if I knew it was going to turn out this way, I wouldn't have spent so much money on vacations, cars, school trips, camps, college. I'll never understand. I'm still praying, but I'm mad. Girl. Oh my God. Okay, first I have a question of I'm confused by, I had open enrollment at my school yesterday and I took their names off. What are we meaning? Are we not sending our kids to school anymore? What's happening? And then it says college, so I assume they're adults. So no one in the comments was explaining this, by the way. So I don't really know what she means by school enrollment's happening and I took their names off the list. Are you mad at your kids so you're not sending them to school anymore? What? If that's not what she meant, please, if you know what she means, let me know, because I'm concerned. But it's even if that's not what she means and I'm misunderstanding, moving into the next part there, this is the problem. This is the problem. You view love as transactional. That is the number one issue with all of these estranged parents, is they're like, what was the point? Why did I even try? Yeah, I give my kids food, clothes, an education, and what do they give me? Nothing. If you were expecting something, that was the problem. They don't owe you anything. They don't. You were a parent. That was your job. That is what you signed up for. When you have a child, you are signing up to do all of those things. It's literally the job description. Yeah, that's literally what you do. And you don't get anything in return for it. You are going to end up with an adult who is ready to face the world. Yeah, you are going to end up with an adult who is capable and determined and a good person. You put love into someone so that they can put love in the world, right? That is the point of being a parent. You don't do it to get things in return. If you're doing it to get things in return, you're doing it wrong. You're not a good parent. You're not a good person if you are only raising kids because you then think they have to give you things in return. Being like, why did I spend so much money on vacations and cars, school trips? Because you love them and you're their mother and you want them to be happy. That's why. If you're regretting that now, that's not going to change anything. If you are showing your love purely through buying them things, they're not going to, why would they show you anything in return? They're going to give you what you give them. And they're adults now. You're probably not paying for shit for them. What are you doing? What are you doing for them instead now? What are you giving them right now? Nothing? Why would they give you anything else? As kids, they don't owe you shit. They don't really owe you shit as adults either, but they're more inclined to give back. And if you've stopped giving them anything because they haven't paid you back for when they were children, you're absolutely the problem. You're absolutely the problem. You told them they are only worth what they do for you. Oh my god. I wonder why they don't speak to you. I sent you to school. How dare you not love me? What else did you do? So I met with my counselor yesterday. Really nice lady. So helpful. We talked about me having a mental health evaluation. This is what my estranged daughter requested in order to feel safe that I would not try to harm her baby. Due in December, to get back at her. Absurd and crazy that she would fear that! A bajillion exclamation points. In short, the counselor told me that she would do one, but doesn't think it is necessary as I would pass it. She saw no signs of a mental health problem. Then we talked about my estranged daughter's issues with OCD and possible borderline personality disorder, bipolar, etc. She recommended a book I am getting today, Stop Walking on Eggshells. Taking your life back when someone you care about has borderline personality disorder. It was an eye-opener for me, and I realized more than trying to figure out the estrangement, I need to see what exactly I am up against should there ever be a reconciliation. I think a lot of things will start to make sense. For now, the healthiest thing for me is to move on with my life. I've accepted the thought that things may never be fixed. She may or may not ever want me in her life again. I can't hang on to emotional cobwebs of what-ifs and maybes. Pray for her? Yes. In the meantime, work on being the best I can spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, and socially. She will always be a part of my life, even if it is a distant part, but she has never and will never be my whole life. My reason for living. My everything. No human can sustain that role. Only Jesus can. Oh my god, I like these people. Ending that, like, I love Jesus more than my child. People are insane. I don't know. I feel like loving Jesus more than your own child is not the way we should be doing. Being like, you can't have one person be your everything. I agree. I do agree. One person should not be your everything. But like then being like, not my child. She's not my whole world. Jesus is. You're like, again, I might see the problem. And that problem might be that you love Jesus more than your daughter, and she probably knows that. You've probably made that very clear throughout her life, where like, you know, she's expressed things and you're like, Jesus wouldn't like that, so I don't like that. Well, you have to do this to please like, if you've used Jesus against her entire life, I feel like she's probably gonna resent Jesus and also resent you. And also on the like, she has BPD and it's like hard to like live around people with BPD and kind of being like, it's not my fault because like, you know, she has a personality disorder and that's not my problem, that's on her. Did you know that BPD is one of the largest factors for BPD is childhood trauma? Did you know that BPD is like caused by ongoing trauma that you experience as a child and also genetics? Like a lot of people with BPD have BPD because their parents had poorly managed BPD. It's me, by the way. That is I. If she has BPD, the chances are you also do. And you didn't deal with that in a correct way. And it traumatized your daughter, who now also has BPD. Maybe I'm projecting, but like that is how it goes a lot of the time, despite what your counselor is saying. And I'm really gonna assume that this counselor is like a church counselor. So I inherently don't really trust their opinions. And if your daughter is worried that you're gonna harm her baby to get back at her, you clearly have done like something, right? Like you've done something. That sounds like potentially it is like an OCD kind of fear thing. But what you do with that is you don't like invalidate her and like call her crazy and whatever. You like actually like have a conversation. My daughter is not everything. She's not my whole life. She's never been my whole life. Jesus is. I fucking swear to God.
This idea that cutting off parents is healing did not come out of nowhere. It was created, repeated, and sold until it felt normal. And it started with like a few trusted voices. One went on PBS and actually said emotionally immature parents, and they said it so confidently and people started to believe it. Then came the books and the checklists and the posts, making people question every memory they had until those questions turned into resentment. And then you had therapists who started teaching boundaries, but online boundaries became block them and healing became walking away. Now distance is called peace and silence is called growth and reconciliation is seen as a weakness. And families are falling apart and parents are mourning living children and the world is applauding it as empowerment. But what's really happening is people are running away from pain instead of repairing it, and they're calling that strength. And that's how we ended up with a generation that confuses cutting people off with healing. And parents are left wondering how love became the villain.
I love kind of just starting this off with being like, don't reflect on the past with your new adult knowledge. Don't do that. Don't take what you've learned from life and experience and then like look at the past and like reevaluate it. Don't do that, all right? Don't fucking do that. Just like keep the memories without thinking about them, and then everything will be fine. But no, they're telling you to go and like reflect on your memories. You feel a certain type of way about something and can't figure out why. Too bad. Don't think about it. Don't question it. Don't question it, because then when you question it, you're going to start hating your parents. Maybe that's because it's their fault. It's like whenever people go to therapy, they're like, all the therapist's gonna do is like ask you about your parents and make it their fault. Yeah, pretty much. A lot of the time, yeah. Because you learn about the world from your parents. Like, it's so wild. I've been in therapy for such a long time. And so I've like figured out a lot of stuff now. But like, it's so interesting thinking about the way you react to things, the way different things make you feel, the way you experience things. And then being like, I wonder why that is. And then you go back and you follow a chain back and you end up at your childhood at specific ways like your parents would interact or things that they would say or do or whatever. And you're like, oh, them doing that caused this. And so then you have to like deal with that and figure that out, because it's not always a positive thing, right? Like, that's just called reflecting. And I'm sorry that you are so cut off from your emotions that you refuse to reflect on your past. But like, other people want to move on. Other people want to figure out why they're feeling the way that they do and overcome that. And like, yeah, sometimes that can cause you to have negative feelings towards your parents. And sometimes parents aren't going to understand that because it's been so long that they're like, why? What is happening? You can't help that. If it's come up as you're an adult, like, you need to work through that. And maybe you're going to forgive your parents and go back. You just need that time away to be able to process that. Like, that's a healthy, normal thing to do. And the problem is when parents like come in and are like, that never happened. You're making that up. How dare you? How dare you? How dare you? You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. I was fantastic and brilliant and so good to you. You're being way too defensive. You're not listening. You're not having a conversation. And then you're being like, why aren't you having a conversation? It's like, you're the one who's not being receptive. These parents all have such like high defenses, and every time you try to like express anything to them, they're like, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And then blame you for making stuff up. And it's like, why am I the one who's making stuff up? Why aren't you the one who's making stuff up? Why are you so innocent in everything and I'm the bad guy? And then they ask that of you, and it's like, we're at a stalemate. This isn't going anywhere. I would like to have a conversation to move forward. You don't want to. And then you're yelling at me for not wanting a conversation. Like, I'm confused. So we're just going to not talk. It could be resolved. A lot of the time it is on parents for refusing to actually move from where they stand, right? You have to actually give ground. Yeah? You can't just stand there and be like, no. That's never going to get you anywhere. It's never going to get you anywhere. So like, if you want shit to move and you want reconciliation, you have to actually move. This person posted this poem with the caption, so ridiculous. And the poem reads, I literally cried when my therapist said, children don't go no contact for fun. They go no contact after years of being silenced, dismissed, and hurt. Distance is never their first choice. It's their last resort. A child doesn't walk away without reason. They only cut the parent off after the parent cut them off emotionally long before. And yup, that is indeed correct. At least like 99% of the time, right? Like this is usually how it goes and why. Obviously this has a lot of angry and laughing emoji reacts, and it has 176 comments. So let's have a look at what some of them say, shall we? That is Satan's minion speaking. Biased, vindictive, destructive people like that should have their therapist license taken away. Satan's minion lives in therapists. What is satanic about this? I don't get it. I don't get it. Just being like, kids stop talking to you when you stop listening to them. When you stop meeting their emotional needs, they don't talk to you anymore, because why would they give you anything if you aren't giving them anything? What you've done for them in the past is not what you're doing for them in the present. Yeah, they don't owe you for what you've done in the past. You have to balance each other now. You have to meet now. It's not like I was your parent when you were growing up and so now you have to look after me while I do nothing. You're on equal ground now, and even still you have to give a bit more away because you are still their parent. I like this comment that says, I listened to them and apologized and asked, is there any more I can do? And then was estranged because of my beliefs. I'm not going to change my religious or political beliefs for anyone. I was asked outright about these beliefs and was not going to lie. I did not want to discuss, but they kept pushing. So this is a lot of crap, and as others have said, they hate me because of what I believe. That still actually applies here. Because, like, their beliefs in these instances, because these parents are all in this group in particular, I didn't say is for Christian parents, as you may have been able to tell by how much they're talking about God and stuff. A lot of the time in these instances with these beliefs that they are asking you to listen to, they're asking you to just like have empathy. They're asking you to like have a conversation and listen and just be open-minded, right? They are asking you to have empathy, to have a conversation, to like view other people as people, perhaps even themselves. A lot of these people say this about like a child comes out as queer and they're like, I'm not gonna change who I am and my beliefs because you're queer. I'm just gonna pretend that you don't exist. And then are like, I tried to apologize. They don't want me in their life and I can't figure out why. Like, that is emotionally closing yourself off to them. You aren't available emotionally because they can't speak to you about things that they care about. They can't speak to you about things that are upsetting them. They can't speak to you about their life experience because you're just going to judge them the whole time. They can't confide in you. They can't trust you. They don't feel seen by you. And that is because of your beliefs. And like you've cut them off because of that as well, because you've cut them off emotionally and you're judging them. You're telling them that they have to change if they want you to love and accept them. So like it is about your beliefs and this does still apply. Speaking of beliefs being the like wedge, right? And not changing your mind on beliefs and being like, my kids don't speak to me because we have different beliefs. And I think that's terrible. People just can't get along these days. Let's have a look at what some of these parents have to say about queer children, shall we? Hello, friends. My estranged son called me yesterday. I had accidentally called him the day before and quickly hung up because part of the estrangement deal is I'm not supposed to call. So he called the next day to see if there was an emergency. We had a mostly cordial conversation, but then he said, well, I guess we're going to continue this standoff until one of us blinks. You know what I'm looking for. He is living as a trans woman and atheist, and refuses contact unless I call him by his female name. Until I do, there's no contact. I'm so disappointed that he thinks this is all a game. He used to be a good Christian who is sold out to God. He thinks I'm just trying to outlast him. He doesn't even realize how far he has strayed and how deep the pain is. He's asking me to put him ahead of my commitments to God, and I can't do that. Most of my family sides with him, except for a select few. I just wish he understood the seriousness of his actions. Again with the like, he's asking me to put him above God. I just don't get it. Yeah? Right? Like, the way that these people are like, God, husband, children, like, children should be number one. I'm sorry. They always should be number one, actually. And I love that all she is asking from you is to use a different name. So it's to use a name. It's really, really easy to do. Like, so easy. People change their names all the time, even if they aren't trans. People have nicknames. People use different names, trans or not. Like, using a different name isn't even not being transphobic. It's literally just using a different name. And it's so easy. If the only thing that is stopping you from talking to your child is that you won't use their preferred name, and then you have the audacity to be like, I'm so hurt. It's so hard. Why doesn't he love me or see me? He's fallen so far. Like, she is asking you to do the easiest thing ever. Yeah? Like, it's literally so easy. Just use the right name and the right pronouns. Like, she isn't even asking you to accept her, right? Like, she is giving it so easy, like, too easy, too forgiving. She clearly wants you in her life. Right? Because the only thing she has told you have to do is use the right name. She's not even asking you to accept her or like accept the trans lifestyle or anything. She just wants you to use the right name. And that's too difficult. And you're out here complaining, girl. If God is being like, if you use the name that she wants you to, you're going to hell. Like, your God fucking sucks, bro. Yep. Okay. Sure. Why not? Keep playing the victim, sure. Well, it finally came to a head. After months of hoping for reconciliation and resolution, I received a text from a strange daughter claiming she had been orphaned by living parents, all because I refused her ultimatum to choose between her brother and herself over a conflict they had. I stayed neutral, and by doing so, apparently, I have chosen him. I'm done staying silent. After enduring her malicious texts, I finally responded. I told her she was orphaned by choice, and a choice was what I was never given when she removed herself and my grandkids from my life. Just like that, No more Sunday dinners at grandma's, no more holidays spent together, no more daily phone calls, no more contact. I told her I never had control. I was just a passenger on a runaway bus that she was driving. I told her I am choosing to jump off that bus and rather than ride it out to its inevitable crash and burn. What followed was more vile trash talking. So it's over. I feel numb, but somewhat relieved that I was able to set a boundary. I will always love my daughter, but I choose happiness. Thanks for listening. So my question, what was this conflict? What was this conflict? Yeah, like you didn't clarify what it was. You just said it was a conflict. And once again, like omitting that detail leads me to like worst case scenario kind of shit, right? If your daughter is coming to you and is like, my brother did this, said this, whatever, and I do not want anything to do with him. I need to cut all contact with him. You cannot agree with him if you want me in your life, right? If she came to you and was like, this is what happened, either I'm in your life or he is, I have to assume that was something pretty horrible and pretty fucking big. Because that's just a matter of being like, I don't want to be around him ever. I want nothing to do with him because he has done / said something that has hurt me so much that I'm willing to cut off ties with my entire family if it means breaking away from him. And if you agree with him, if you don't condemn his actions, then I also don't want anything to do with you because I cannot be around someone who is okay with that. Like, there are only so many conclusions that I can draw. And I think that based on the conclusions I can draw, I'm siding with her. She is absolutely in the right in this situation. Sometimes you are going to have to make that choice. And if you don't want to make that choice, you have to live with the consequences of that. If you can look past any crime that a child has committed and still be like, I love them equally and I want you both in my life. If you can do that, then all right, that's your prerogative. But you cannot be upset when one of them walks away because they can't do that. Because they can't do it. So like they're gonna walk away and you cannot begrudge them for that. It makes sense to give you that ultimatum and it makes sense for them to walk away because of your decision in that. I do also love then though, being like, obviously the daughter is the one who initiated this estrangement and walked away. And then this mother is here like, I'm jumping off the bus. I'm taking back control and power. Girl, you did nothing. She walked away. She made this decision. She wasn't taking you with her. You're like, I'm jumping off the bus. She pushed you off the bus, bro. If you were still on it, that's because you jumped back on and were clinging on. She did not ask you to be there. You were not choosing happiness. She kind of forced you into this spot. Like, you could have chose to have her in your life by just condemning your son's actions, but you know, maybe it wasn't that bad. I don't know the situation. Maybe she is overreacting. But considering there is no context to this, I have to believe that she's not. I have to believe that this was in fact very serious. You did not jump off the bus, you were in fact pushed off the bus. So don't try to claim credit for this. Don't try to take her move of like empowerment as your own. That's so fucked up. She made this move to like free herself, and choose peace. And this woman's like, I made this choice. I did this for me. Fuck, let her have that, right? She's been through enough. And if you don't want me to jump to all these conclusions, please include context. That goes for everyone in all of these groups. These parents never give any context. Like, ever. There's never context. They always like try to make it sound they are in the right. They always try to make it sound like their child is being so overly dramatic and like ridiculous, but like leaving out so much key detail that like I can only assume the worst. If you want people to stop assuming the worst, tell us why we shouldn't assume the worst. Because why are you omitting the truth if it's not that bad? Yeah? I just need parents to take a breather and actually start like listening to their children and having actual conversations instead of just coming online and being like, I am a victim. Everybody praise me. I'm not going to tell you what I've done wrong. I'm just going to tell you what my child did wrong, but not everything. I'm just going to rant and complain and you're all going to fluff my ego and tell me I've done nothing wrong and that I'm perfect. And then I can carry on hating my child and blaming them. It's not the way to go about it. Oh my God. It's like frustrating beyond belief, but it is entertaining, I will say. And it does further solidify, like every time I read these, I'm like, yeah, that kid made the right choice. I'm proud of them. Good for them. I'm glad that they walked away. And yeah, that was made so much more true in reading Doormat Mom's book. Oh my God, that book, it drove me absolutely up the wall, considering obviously it is 43 pages worth of notes I have written for that. So, you know, it's going to be a really long video, I'm sure. But I'm really excited to put it out, and I hope that you're excited to see it as well. I've worked really hard on it. And whilst I am filtering through 43 pages of notes about this godforsaken, horrible book to turn into a video, you can spend some time on your favorite mobile games, earning some money using free cash with the link in my description. And then by the time my video rolls around, you can go out and you can get yourself a nice piece of cake, because for some reason I'm obsessed with cake now. And you can sit and treat yourself and eat a piece of cake while you watch me talk for God knows how long about this awful, horrible woman. And you definitely do not want to miss out on that. So please don't forget to use the link in the description, and also subscribe, turn on the notifications, because I would love to share that video with you. I'm very excited to put it out. Yeah, so a huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons: Polar Bee, Sienna, Alicia, Marielle, Bree, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic Petey, Sushi Kawaii, Phil the Duck, Jessie, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes, you